What's happening, everyone? Happy Thursday. We got a double header for you today. First up is Validator AMA number 19. Wow, has it been 19? We're about to hit 20 Validator AMAs. That is a lot of time I've spent on the internet talking about this stuff. I can only hope you've been helped in some way, form, or fashion, because I don't make any money off this stuff. I actually hemorrhage money quite a bit, hemorrhage money and time. So you're welcome, first of all. Second of all, I'm excited because we got Dip Slayer here, not Dip Catcher, not any other dips. He slays the dips, this gentleman. And he's here to talk about his scripts and the best set, I think, overall. I haven't personally used them because, for like obvious reasons. I was talking to him, I'm like, I would use your scripts, but I like my scripts and all that stuff. So him, David Feeder, Gamma, they have guidance. They have all the commands, all the different stuff floating around, all complementary. And together, the more stuff we got, the more options for people to use, the better. So I'm excited. Glad he agreed to come on and go through his scripts and how to use them and, demo and stuff like that. So that should be a lot of fun. He's in the green room. And then that's the first part of the doubleheader. And then I set up the stream. We'll go here for about 30 minutes or so. And then I got another stream with Brandon B on PulseChain, why Hex is dead, all that good stuff. The stuff we all really, I like to pump the community up. I like to make sure they have the information they need to make their own choices and really understand the nuance around why this stuff just happens all the time and that people hold on forever tend to win harder, historically speaking. But that should be a good stream. So yeah, in about 11:45 Pacific, I will start that stream as well. Take a little bit of break after this, just for a couple minutes. Going to be a busy morning. It's already been a busy morning so far. But without further ado, welcome to the stream, Dip Slayer. How's it going, man?
Hey, hi everyone.
Yes, this is I'm glad. I always, I've had Gam on the show. I've had David Feeder, and now I have the Dip Slayer. So we're me. All four of us are in the. I mean, I think there's other scripts and people out there making stuff too. I've seen a few other ones as well, and they're more than welcome to come on Validator AMA as well. But I'm glad I could get in touch with you because, man, you have one of the best set of scripts and stuff I've seen out there. So I really wanted to highlight your work.
Thanks for that. I appreciate.
Of course, man. So you want to just give people an idea before we do a demo and stuff. And actually, let me get the link and I'll post in the chat. Let's see. I'm just going to search for GitHub TDS Lane. So what is the Dip Slayer versus TDS Lane? What is that?
Oh, TDS Lane was just my old nickname back in the days when I played video games. So it's a leftover. It was my old Google account that I actually use now for my GitHub repo. I created it a while back, and yeah, crypto came after that. So Dip Slayer is in crypto, and TDS Lane is my gamer tag. But that's in the past.
Okay, I was always wondering. I was like, is it TDS Lane? Is it Dip Slayer? And then I see you using Dip Slayer, and then you're Peter on Telegram. So I was like, okay, let's. Yeah, I forgot I should go. That's right. I can call you Peter too. That's cool. Let me say hi to the chat real quick. Crypto Compassion, what's happening? Godfather J6, glad both of you showed up for this very unannounced stream today, which is totally fine because I love clipping the content and getting that message out there as well. So I don't care how many people show up today. We're going to have some good content. It's going to be good. So everyone, if you're interested in following along with some of the stuff we talk about here, go to this GitHub link. And yeah, let's start with that real quick. What motivated you? How did you even learn it? Because, people ask me, when I'm telling the story, how did I learn about it and stuff? And I've been in tech for a long time. So for me, it was like, okay, let me start with Ethereum testnet. Let me play around with that. Let me learn how the clients work, what all this stuff means. What is Aragon? What is Prism? All that stuff. And then I was like, okay, I can contribute. I don't see anyone else out there writing automated scripts until I came across your stuff. I hadn't seen a lot of people doing that. It was mostly just guides with a bunch of commands and stuff, which is super useful. And everyone has benefited from that. And a lot of people have been using that. But I thought, okay, here's a way to make it super simple. Like I just wanted to /. I don't want anyone to think about, which client to use, all that, which I know in yours it's awesome because you can select which ones. And it's great for especially advanced users who want to actually pick each client and go through and set up their preferences. But for me, it's like, I want to make something where /, you have to do the minimal amount of steps required. and you took a different direction too, which is fascinating to me. So yeah, like what, how'd you even start wrapping your head around how to write this type of stuff and blockchains, and what motivated you to write the scripts?
First of all, I guess I'm really curious about how all this blockchain stuff really works. And as you just said, me too, I try to wrap my head around it, getting things to know, understanding things to understand how things work. I have to play with them myself and get a better understanding. I started also on Ethereum testnet, setting up nodes and stuff like that before all the stake of proof of stake stuff happened. And yeah, ever then I just keep playing around with all the stuff and trying to understand all the different mechanics and possibilities in archive node and just a node and how to set up a validator, all that stuff. And I was curious. I never found a really good guide that had all the stuff in one place. You have code snippets from here, code snippets from there. You have
Mm-hmm.
to scaff through the internet and Discord and Reddit and have to pick your parts together and make it work as one piece actually. So I thought about seeing all the hexagons and all the polysecons, non-technical people, of course, wanted to participate in the validator stuff. And so I thought, okay, how should someone with no experience in either coding, Linux, whatever, how should I ever be able to set up a validator, a node, in a quick manner without scanning through all this stuff? Because it is really could really be frustrating in trying something new that is not your daily business. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
IT too. My daily job is in IT too. So
I
yeah,
figured.
I thought about how to make the life for these people, also for people with knowledge, more easier, more just click a button, set this thing up, it keeps running, and don't have to worry about where do I get this info, where do I get this info. Also on testnet, also now on mainnet, the GitLab from Pulse is also. I believe they even link to some Ethereum guides with outdated
Mm-hmm.
guidance and commands. So yeah, I figured it would be easier if someone just built a thing to make it as easy as possible for everyone to participate in this whole network.
Dude, I'm totally with you. Yeah, I think we have a lot of same motivations. It's just like, hey, we work in tech, IT, and otherwise, and we have these skills. We're able to do this, and that's the best thing about the community is like, you do the work, right? That's what Richard says. You do the work. You want to see something happen, you do it. The official
Exactly.
devs, the
Right.
official dev guides don't have all the stuff under there. I'm still like, where are the testnet repos, by the way? Because I wanted to publish, because I went from testnet to mainnet on the script, and I can't publish the testnet one because the repos are now mainnet, and there is no testnet ones that I know of. Is that correct?
That is correct, but you can use the network flags for it. The network flags
Oh,
just
okay.
changed.
So you basically just you can use the same repo, but set the network
Yes,
set the
exactly.
clients using the testnet ones. Oh, I didn't even think
Exactly.
of that.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I will. Maybe I'll publish it anyways.
You
But
can use my script to set it up.
that's true. It actually there's already something out there that works for that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a great segue. A great segue. You want me to share your screen?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Great segue into how your scripts work and whatever you want to show us about them.
Okay, so first of it all, here is the GitHub. It has some basic how to do stuff, one-liner command, which puts everything together into one single line. You can paste it in the terminal here, or manual steps on how to get things started, some stuff to do after the initial setup, and some basic info how to log, how to stop and restart containers, and yeah, just some basic info. And for the script itself, it's a setup of three parts, basically three parts. The first one is to set up Pulse node. So I try to make it as modular as possible. If someone just wanted to set up a node for RPC access, whatever, you can install this setup Pulse node. It will then, once this is done, ask you if you want to set up a validator too, which would lead to this script here. It takes care of the validation setup. And once this is done, he will also ask you if you want to set up your monitoring via Prometheus or Grafana. And it would call this script here. The setup offline keychain is actually, I guess a few people had a request for it, a small script that just set up your then air-gapped offline device to generate keys in a safe manner. We had a staking client, so you can install this one here separately on a device and keep your device air-gapped and then transfer your validator keys to be imported to your main validator via USB stick or SCP, stuff like that. Yeah, so this is just the add-on. I also have to admit I hate documentation, so I have to rework my README here to include all the changes that's happened in the past weeks. As you can see, 520 commits. The last one 6 hours ago.
Yeah. Wow.
A bunch of stuff added. In the
Yeah, don't
meantime,
worry.
when
If you need more guidance, just you can surf over to my repo, and I can help you out with that too.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Okay, so to get things started, I don't know, should we just start a test installation or?
Sure. Yeah. Let's maybe preface it with so once you have your hardware set up, do you need Ubuntu 2204? Is that what you're targeting, or what do people need before they run this?
Yeah, Ubuntu. You can either choose the server version or the Ubuntu 2204 LTS version. Any other Debian system should work. I haven't tested it on Linux Mint or other Debian-based OSs, but it should work. Basically, it should work. Yeah.
Okay.
But if someone asks me, I let them know to use this Ubuntu as I guess it's the standard. So.
Yeah, I've only been supporting 2204 with my script at least, but I haven't had anyone that I know of try to run on other things and ask me to support it. But yeah, just everyone out there, if we're all using the same thing, it becomes much easier and you run into less bugs. So 2204 is the standard as of now, the consensus standard, I guess. So once they have that set up, you got Linux, you got hardware, you got Linux, and then take us from there.
Yeah, you just basically click this icon here to copy the whole command line. You can paste it in your terminal window. Hit enter. It will ask you for your password because some stuff like it will check prior to setting up the node. It will do system check on updates. It will update to the latest version of your Ubuntu kernel updates, etc. Stuff like that, security updates. So your system is up to date prior to installing it. Just hit enter. It will start cloning into stuff. And this is the first screen. It is just a Pulse node validator, like a small intro screen. Just press enter to continue. Short disclaimer about security, stuff like that, and everyone is responsible for its own action right here. You can continue. Just a shout out to some people who helped me, especially Rainbow Top Gun. He helped me a lot with feedback, wording stuff. He beta tested during testnet times, gave me really valuable feedback. Rastumo, who forked the dashboard, I'm gonna download later, and the whole Pulse Dev Telegram team, all great guys. Without them, I guess it wouldn't have gone this far.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that, the Telegram groups and Gamma, I followed a lot of his, just trying to wrap your head around, what are the different parts. That's probably the hardest thing for me, at least writing the script, is what needs to happen in what order, and then trying to create guidance and trying to create a script that doesn't break around that. That's what I found to be the most difficult.
Yeah. Okay, and here we have our first real option to choose from. If you want to set up a mainnet or testnet, node or validator, I'm gonna go with mainnet for the moment. So the first thing he does is setting up the time zone. So you are on sync with the rest of the network, and you don't get any penalties because you're out of sync and can't get the correct blocks, whatever. And here we can choose our execution client. Most of the people would generally choose Geth here. It's still have to reword it. Go Pulse actually. I guess it's just a leftover. And
Yeah.
you could use Aragon, and an Aragon experimental thingy I did to only keep the latest 2000 blocks. I'm still not 100% sure if this ever will work out, but it's in a testing phase. The last option.
Yeah, I was going to ask, shouldn't it be, instead of Geth, shouldn't it be, GPLS at this point?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I'm gonna add it to the to-do list.
No, I mean the devs themselves. I think it's still called. We still use. I think it's just
Yeah,
everyone's
on
used to using
the
the Geth client. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Go Pulse client.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with the execution layer setup, you can choose your consensus or beacon client. I'm gonna go with Prism here. I like Prism. I like the handling of the accounts much more than Lighthouse. With Prism, you got a nicer interaction if you want to exit multiple validators or delete some accounts from your validator setup. It's a bit of a hassle with Lighthouse. Therefore, I go with Prism, but yeah. And now you will get asked for your installation folder. It defaults to root drive blockchain. I guess it's also the most used and common folder I've seen in other scripts and tutorials and guides. So here we enter our target path. Just hit enter. It will use the default root blockchain folder. It's gonna download all the dependencies we need.
I'm curious why it's downloading there. The cool thing I think about Lighthouse versus Prism is Prism, you don't have to type in the file with your password, although I think Lighthouse saves it somewhere on disk anyways. So it's like little nuances like that. And when I was doing Ethereum testnet, I was using Aragon and Prism. And I just remember I just had this bad taste in my mouth because I was learning and I was frustrated and all this stuff. So I was like, all right, forget those two. I've already got my experience. When I do the PulseChain scripts, I'm using the other two. And that's basically the only reason I like the other two is because I was so frustrated with the first two, but it was not their fault. It was just me learning stuff at first.
Yeah, on Ethernet, I ran with Nethermind and Teku and Nimbus, I guess, and they were pretty good because I had roughly around 4 corrupted databases with Geth on Ethereum network, and that's when I said, okay, I won't touch it anymore. Corrupted database are no fun if you have no backup and have to resync from block O.
No, and that's the only thing I think is probably better with Aragon. The one thing I can think of is it does automatic pruning, and with Geth, you need to, I guess, I have a script to do it in the repo, but you can just set that up on a cron job, for example, to do it if you don't want to do it manually. But every quarter, every 6 months or so, you need to prune it to not run out of disk space, depending on how much disk space you have. That's the only, that's the two things I can see that I like a little bit better on Lighthouse and a little bit better on Aragon, even though I use Geth and Lighthouse.
Yeah. So where we generate our JVT hex file, subfolders created, etc. stuff, just on some info stuff, so user know what is going on here. Now we have created a shared group. This will also come in handy security-wise because I set it up the way so each part has its own username and own group. So only these groups and users can access the actual files, which should be some kind of security measurement, I guess.
And the question on that too, so are you using Docker with the scripts?
Yeah, exactly. Docker.
So are you setting the groups within Docker or outside of Docker that can run the containers?
Outside of Docker. So these are
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, no, that's
system users. Like, see here, the execution folder gets the user Gav. Also need to reword this, and it's on the group Docker. The consensus, I chose Prism. It got the user Prism and the group Docker. The JVTX file is not accessible for any other user than Gav and the Pulse shared group. The Pulse shared group is also the group where Gav and the consensus client will be in. So yeah, it's just some
nice.
I try to set everything up as safe and secure as possible for a non-tech person. So
Yeah, no,
I
no,
guess
well done.
this would be a special AMA, so it's too long to talk about all the specifics.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, back to our setup. I had the option to allow access to the RPC from your local network. Say if you have your home network set up and validator sits in the basement and you want to use it as an RPC client for your MetaMask, it will detect your IP address and asks you if you would allow access to it from within your home network. Just gonna hit yes. This is our RPC port. I want to allow it in the firewall. SSH access, yes. Also default port, I'm gonna use port 22. You should change it if you set up a live system. Now he's gonna generating our start scripts, which will be our point where execution client is started, consensus is started. Actually, the download rate is really bad from the Docker images. Should have done it prior.
Oh yeah, otherwise it should be in the cache or already on the system.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have to download from the internet. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
So whilst downloading, why did you pick? Do you just like the repeatability? You like containers? Is that why you like and of course, there's extra isolation for security as well. Is that why you pick Docker to run the clients in?
Oh, I thought about with the premise of making it as easy as possible, giving non-tech people an option to easily update their stuff. There are no pre-built binaries, so they would have to download the source file, recompile them on their own, and set everything up on their own. So I thought Docker containers should be easy to update.
Yeah.
They come directly from the devs, so that was my main reason to use Docker.
Gotcha. Yeah, the update scripts I have, they just pull them down again. They do git pull up the updates, recompile everything, and then restart the clients. So yeah, everyone asks what's the difference between your scripts, everyone else's scripts? And I'm like, they all do the same thing. They just do it in different ways. Like there's pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages, but they all accomplish the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, what do we have here? After the Docker gets pulled, we have a small menu created. It asks if you would like to have it as a desktop shortcut. Just hit yes. Now we have some desktop shortcuts over here. They all need a right click and allow launch. We're gonna do it later. Enter, would you like to set up a validator? This is now if you just want to set up a node, a full node, you could cancel out here. If you would like to set up a validator, continue. Again for mainnet. And we use Prism 2. Again, our install folder still is default blockchain. Confirm. Now he creates the Prism wallet. I have to enter a 8-digit character password. And here we have the validator key setup. This is also a part you should, if possible, generate your keys on an offline device. This is where this setup offline keychain script comes in hand. It's basically the same thing that is going on right here, except that it's mainly focused on an offline device. So I'm gonna just continue for the sake of this stream and generate a new key. Any questions so far? Because this Docker download will take some time.
Yeah, I think the just being clear about generating the keys on a different machine and why that's important. Actually, while I'm here, while that's taking a minute, I'm just going to remove yours, add mine back to the screen real quick, because I actually want to get your thoughts on this. So this is something I came up with last night. I've been trying to think and reason about this to try to provide some kind of guidance. So this is a work in progress, but this is from what I understand so far about the attack surface, the attack model. So if the validator gets compromised, and again, this ties into why you should generate your keys on a different machine and keep your seed words way away from your machine in general. So if only the validator keys are on the server, then they basically have control of your server. They can turn it on, turn it off. They can make it stop functioning correctly, blah, blah, blah. However, if the validator seeds are on the server, the only thing I could think of, and again, I have a security background and stuff, so I've been trying to apply that here and try to think about the different nuance. But the only way I can think that they can steal your funds is if you didn't set a withdrawal address. Because
Exactly.
if they have your seeds and you didn't set a withdrawal address, they can generate the BLS keys, and then they can set their withdrawal address, and then they can exit, steal funds, all that stuff.
Exactly.
But if you did, yeah, then they can only exit. They can only do whatever, if they have the stuff there, but they can't get access to the actual seeds unless they have access to your withdrawal seeds and all this stuff. And then the other one is if you put your withdrawal or priority fee address seeds on the server, then of course they can, if they get access, they can go get access to the funds. So does that seem correct to you? Is that the three main scenarios, I believe?
Yeah, totally.
And then yeah, TLDR, do not generate or keep any seed words on the server itself, and make sure you set a withdrawal address during the generation of your validator keys to be the most secure as far as seeds and keys go.
Yep.
Cool. Good to get some feedback on it. It's this is what I understand, but I wanted to talk to some other folks doing validator stuff too, just to make sure. So, awesome. I will remove mine and put yours back on the screen.
Okay. I don't know. Can everyone see the small terminal window here? Should I try to zoom in?
If you can zoom in, it'd be fine. I think we're on 1080p, so it should be okay-ish on a bigger screen, but up to you. Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't mess up your screen, then yeah, bigger is always better.
That's okay. Okay, so in case you have an online device and you don't care about setting up keys on your offline device, this is a step that is done prior to generating the keys. It will actually tell you it's unsafe, blah, 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 and he would shut down the network interface. Right here, he would shut it down. Just gonna add okay. Yes. Network is unreachable. It's okay. So he actually just turned off the network, cut the online connection, and continues with the key generation just to have some safety measures in there. Okay, now you are forced to enter your withdrawal address. So your attack vector, what you just showed, isn't present anymore for new keys. Just gonna use my donation wallet here. I want to run one validator. Gonna generate my key store password. Of course, this is not to be copied over. You should write it on a piece of paper, whatever. This is just for testing right now. You got your keys generated. It can be found in the blockchain here under validator keys. Of course, network interface back off. Okay, my virtual machine was off for too long, so it lost its connection anyways.
Oh no, it happens.
Okay, so after key generation, the keys get imported into the Prism. This is done right here. Successfully imported one account. And this step continues for the first time setup is just to generate your validator startup script. You could enter your fee address here. If you leave it empty, it will go to my donation address. You decide gravity. If you don't enter anything, it will default to my DipSlayer account. You can also see a small collection here of what will be used. So you can have a peek at it. You can change the stuff later on. I will get to this any minute. Yes, we would like to start all them together now. So execution, beacon, and validator are getting started in the background right now. And now he would ask you if you would like to set up Grafana monitoring. I'm gonna skip this over because this will take also quite some time to download all the Docker images. And now he will pop up with a restart required prompt. This is actually important because, as I mentioned earlier, I set up file permission ownerships, adding new groups, stuff like that. So to make these effective, you have to reboot your system. I'm gonna do this now.
Gotcha. Yeah, basically you want to simulate logging in, logging back out, which you're doing it locally.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Log out, log in should be okay too. But you never know if the person actually had his system up to date prior to launching the script. So it's
yeah,
a good point to reboot here.
yeah. Nice background.
Yeah. Okay, actually back now. The setup is done. Everything should run in the background from now on. You got your 4 desktop icons that were created during the setup. I'm gonna right click allow launch. This is actually our validator menu. Stop all clients, our locks in a UI tab style and our locks in tmux style. I'm gonna go over these real quick.
Dude, I like
Basically, you
that. I
got
like
here,
the shortcuts on the desktop. That's pretty sweet.
you got on the left here, you got your execution logs, you got your validator logs, your beacon not logs, your system overview. And let me see, the UI logs are in tab style. So you got to monitor all the running Docker containers. Your disk usage, also a good point to see how far am I in the sync process. Also your system monitoring, your validator logs, your beacon logs, your execution logs. I'm gonna let them run in the background. And also you got the option to stop all the Docker images at once. This is important if you want to reboot your system, update your system, shut down your system, stop the Docker client's images prior to this because especially the execution client has some data in its cache, and if you kill it, terminate it too quick, he won't write the data into the database, and your database could get corrupted, and that
Great point.
means you have either heal state your database, which might take some hours and get penalties for your validator, or you could end up with a completely corrupted database, which would send you back to zero and you have to resync the whole chain. And therefore, it's always important to stop the clients prior to shutting down, rebooting your system. And as you can see, all Docker containers are stopped at the moment. And to get them back on, we could do it either manually or use the validator menu. This is a small menu where I put together the most important tasks one could ever come across. First, we got our, of course, our log viewers, just like the desktop icons. It's not working at the moment because they are stopped. We got our clients menu where you can see options for execution client, beacon client, validator client. There we can also say start our clients. Let me quickly get the logs back so I can make sure they are really running. Yep, they are. They are back again. From here on, also stop all clients. As you can see down here, all the clients are stopped. Start all clients, they should appear. They are here, good. Update all clients, should the devs ever push some updates, you can run the update all clients here. It will download the latest version of the Docker images provided by the dev team. For each client, you have a sub-menu execution beacon validator client where you can separately start, stop, restart the execution. See down here, it disappeared. And it should come back up. Right, here it is. You could, from here on, you could edit your config. If you ever need to change some startup flags like the cache, especially lower it, add Web3 to this right here, so you can use Web3 functions over RPC calls. Once you've done your editing, you can just hit restart execution, and with minimal downtime, it will restart with the new settings. You can also see the show logs. What is there? Won't work. Okay, I have to check on this. Should actually work. Same goes for beacon client and for the validator. So here's basically start, stop, edit, show logs. And you can also go into the validator and key setup menu. From here on, you can convert your old BLS keys. You could exit your validator. You could list your accounts. For Prism, this is nice on Prism. You get a nice interface where you can check on your public keys and stuff like that. You don't have this accessible as Prism in Lighthouse.
Yeah, that is annoying. At first, I was like, "Where do I find my public keys? What is going on?"
Yeah,
It's a little annoying, dude. This is really impressive. Like, this is pretty awesome.
For here, you could exit your validator in an easy manner. Just use your network and your beacon client. Prism, yes, it's default blockchain. Everything that is always set here as default, just hit enter to accept it. And this is really nice on Prism. You get to choose if you got 10 validator running. You could select all accounts. You could select different accounts. So you want to exit account 1 and account 5. You can choose this here. Done selecting. Are you sure you want to perform? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I'm sure. Of course, it won't work because this test setup is not synced. But once you enter this, exit my validator. No successful once you exit because it's of course not synced. You need a synced validator and beacon chain for this to be submitted. Okay, for key management, if you ever want to add keys, restore keys from seed, import keys from an offline generation, this is your go-to. We choose Prism as our client. Right here, generate new keys. So you could add up as many keys as you would like. You could import or restore keys from a backup, from an offline generation, and you could restore or add keys from a seed phrase. So these are the 3, 4, 5 options that I came across people wanted to use. I don't know if there's any other option available that I could implement, but it should cover anything anybody ever wants to do. So from here on, we could just, let me try to re-import my existing keys.
Okay.
It will ask you for the backup or for the offline generation, it will ask you for your folder. I'm gonna hit blockchain because in there sits my validator keys folder. So he should find them. Yeah, now he's asking for the key store password. And of course, duplicate keys in imports will be ignored because he has it already in its database. And yeah, this is just to showcase the import function.
Wow.
Yes, back to the menu. Rerun initial setup. If you ever want to change your beacon client, you can do this here. It's not quite tested. I have to come up with a better solution for this. Also, I'm trying to implement a backup script that takes care of your chain data folder, so you can run
I
it
was gonna say.
monthly, whatever. So in case you don't have any backups and your system crashes, to get up as quickly as possible, a backup is required. So you can just copy paste your already synced data back to your new validator, your new node, so you have as less downtime as possible. Also, here is the submenu for the system: update, reboot system shutdown, update local helper files. If I ever update the menu with further functions and you don't want to reinstall the whole stuff, of course, you can just run this update local helper files. It will get the latest files from the GitHub, copy them over, apply changes according to the latest state on the GitHub repo, and you're up to date, and new functions should be available once you relaunch this menu. Also, this menu is not only available on your validator menu desktop icon, also on just enter Pulse menu anywhere in the terminal in your command line, and it should pop up too. So I guess this really covers most of the stuff anybody would ever do on the validator node.
Yeah, dude, it's yeah, from start to finish, man, you killed it. Definitely love to have the script running, and man, it's very impressive. Definitely, I mean, I think I got a few more scripts in my repo. I do have the backup scripts, the snapshot type stuff and things, but yeah, I feel like it's inevitable that when you add more of the backup stuff and other things to your repo to make it even better. So well done, man. Well done.
Oh, I see. Good showcase here. I see. I just changed some flags on the execution as a showcase, and now you can see on the monitor here, the Docker client has some issues. It's always keep restarting. So let's quickly see how this can be solved. Added execution logs. I added the web3 flag here. Gonna delete it. Write file. Save. Restart execution, and it should be up and running and not reboot any longer. Yep, and it's there. So that's a quick way. I imagine a lot of people say you have your validator running for best case 5-6 months without ever touching it. You come across a problem. Okay, you have to remember all the stuff. Where are the files? What have I to do to access the files? How can I edit these files? So that's the main reason I came up with the menu, to have one place,
Yeah.
and you can easily find all the stuff you would need to configure.
And for maintenance, two things I understand for maintenance are one, if you're using Geth, you need to prune it every once in a while. Unless you have a huge disk space, you don't care. And then two is make sure the clients are up to date. Follow Richard. If we're making a big parameter change, you're going to want to update the clients to stay validating on the network. So those are the two things. That anything else?
Let me think about it. No, pruning is important. The backups are important. Keeping up to date is important, and yeah, pruning will be included. I have a script already in my helper folder,
Nice.
but it's not
Has it made
yet
the menu
active.
yet? Yeah.
Geth attached,
Awesome.
Geth version. Also stuff like here this Geth version. There are some API calls you can send to each client, like getting the version out, so you know what version you're running on. I have to implement this into the menu too. They are currently only as a small script in there.
Nice.
But yeah, stuff like it will grow. It will grow in time. I mean, getting this done from testnet to mainnet was quite a lot of work, hours at night, to get it running. So all the smaller stuff is getting added step by step now that mainnet is out and the main thing is running.
Yeah, main thing is it works.
Yeah.
429 Cobrajet. Dipslayer, could you discuss the validator update you posted about Twitter and how this could be applied to existing validators already up and running? Did you already cover this?
Oh, of course. Of course. Let me quickly come up with my GitHub repo.
And we'll wrap up in just a minute.
So I posted a command on my Twitter. It's basically this file, update files, sh. And I'm just gonna go to the raw file so I can download it really quick. So all you have to do is basically you get the file, make it executable. Oh, hold on. And you run it. It will ask you for your default blockchain default installation folder, which defaults to blockchain. Just hit enter. And that's it. You should have the latest menu, and with the latest menu comes the change here to update local helper files, adjusted grace times for the shutdown commands on the Docker images because I increased them. I read on Ethereum it was mostly 180 seconds to wait before the Docker gets killed, forcefully killed. I increased it to 300 seconds, so the execution client has enough time to write the data from the cache to the database. And other updates will be handled via this update local helper files. That's it. So basically you get this file as posted on Twitter, and then change it to make it executable, and you run it. And that should update all the installation and setups that has been done in the past prior to this update I just pushed.
Awesome. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Definitely want to clip this out and make sure people have some more options for automation. Very professionally well made, and looking forward to the updates. And I maybe use it myself one day as well. Super cool. I appreciate your hard work,
especially for the testnet. Also, you can see you can check the code inside the functions. Is where I keep all my functions I used during the script, so I can use them over and over again. These are the network flags used for mainnet, and these are the ones used for testnet.
Gotcha. Another quick question from 429. Can that be done while online? Sounds like the update.
Of course, yeah. You have to be online.
Maybe he's saying online as far as the clients go. Like, is there any downtime for the clients? Maybe that's what he's asking.
No. It's just helper scripts that gets updated. The menu gets updated, and a couple of helper scripts gets updated. But your validator, your node is untouched during this process. So no downtime during this.
Perfect. All right, man. Should we wrap it up there? And
sure.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Thanks for coming on doing the demo. Again, I know as someone who writes these scripts too. I mean, and yours are way more advanced than mine in a lot of respects. It's like, wow, that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, especially going from testnet to mainnet, making sure that this stuff works in the real world. So, looking forward to the updates, and we gotta call it. Yeah, appreciate that 429. Appreciate it. Real quick from Willie B. Long, do you recommend Starlink outage? I mean, just a stable internet connection of anything, but if you have an outage, It's kind of, I don't know, there's gonna be a lot of people running from home who are gonna have internet outages or power, and they're gonna have to deal with it with battery backups or otherwise. But if you're off for a few hours, I don't think it's a big deal. If you're off for a week, that's a different story. You may want to relocate your stuff or put it in the cloud, put it in a VPS where they guarantee all this stuff. That's another advantage for that. Of course, less decentralized, but I think we got enough. I think we got enough of them running at home. We don't have to worry about that too much. So, of course, Brian, of course, man. I like to have people on the show who provide utility and do amazing stuff and can talk about talk turkey on the internet about these amazing magic internet money we're playing with. So thanks again, Dip Slayer. Hopefully this won't be the last time. Hope to have you on the show again. It's been a great one.
Sure, appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right, everyone. Coming on with Brandon B in like 5 minutes. I'll take a quick break. But before then, Scivive and 5555. We are out.